Hey there, music people. Today we're hopping into our DeLorean, setting the flux capacitor to December 15th, 1979, and diving into the Billboard Hot 100's top 10 songs of that week. It was the end of the disco era, the dawn of the 80s, and the soundtrack of our lives was lit. So grab your bell bottoms and let's get this countdown started. Brandy from MusicGoldmine.com here. Welcome back to the channel and this episode of MusicGoldmine.com Top 10s Revisited. This time we're exploring a week when satin jackets and cassette players ruled, and the top 10 was packed with heartfelt ballads and funky grooves. Starting us off at number 10 is Supertramp with Take the Long Way Home. This track was released in 1979 from Supertramp's mega hit album Breakfast in America. This album wasn't just successful, it was a monster, selling over 20 million copies worldwide. It's like the vinyl equivalent of binge-worthy TV. You just couldn't get enough of it. Roger Hodgson, the band's lead vocalist and co-writer, said the lyrics reflect the idea of escaping from the monotony of daily life. Now let's talk about the music. That harmonica at the beginning, it's like the musical equivalent of a lone cowboy staring into the sunset, except the cowboy is in a 70s station wagon with a long drive ahead. And that iconic piano riff? Hodgson and Rick Davies were geniuses at layering sounds that made you feel all the feelings. It was the fourth single from the album, peaking at number 10 on the Billboard Hot 100. Not bad for a tune that sounds like it was written for people questioning their life choices during a scenic drive. The album Breakfast in America would be certified 4 times platinum in the US. At number 9, we've got Heartache Tonight by Eagles. This song came from the Eagles' 1979 album, The Long Run. Now, this album was no easy feat for the group. It took them 2 years to make, and rumor has it, the band was ready to kill each other by the end. Well, not literally, but it did break up the band and famously caused Don Henley to say that the group would only get back together when hell freezes over. Of course, hell did freeze over for the Eagles 14 years later. Well, that's a whole other story. Despite the drama, they churned out this great track that topped the Billboard Hot 100 and won a Grammy for Best Rock Vocal Performance by a Duo or Group. Glenn Frey and J.D. Souther wrote the first verse and then called up Bob Seger to assist. Seger belted out the chorus over the phone on the spot. Then Frey, Don Henley, and Souther finished it up. The lyrics are all about heartbreak and late-night mistakes. But let's be real. It's not a sad song. It's more like, yeah, I'm heartbroken, but I'm gonna dance it off and maybe cause some chaos while I'm at it. It hit number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 and cemented the Eagles' status as rock royalty. Oh, and that Grammy win? They were up against heavyweights like Fleetwood Mac and Foreigner, but Heartache Tonight took home the trophy. This song would be certified gold and the long run certified 7 times platinum. Coming in at number 8 is the Captain and Tennille with Do That To Me One More Time. Released in late 1979, it became the duo's second and final number 1 hit on the Billboard Hot 100. It hit the top spot in February 1980, just as the 70s were giving way to a new decade of big hair and neon. The song was written by Toni herself, yes, not just a voice, but a songwriter too. She wanted to create something sensual without crossing into overly suggestive territory. The song's title, however, caused somewhat of a stir, actually. Some radio stations didn't play it because they thought it was too suggestive. But honestly, compared to some of today's lyrics, this is practically PG poetry. Toni Tennille and Darren Dragon, the Captain and Tennille, were married at the time, so the chemistry seemed real. Although it would later come out that, well, not so much. Anyway, did you know that Dragon was formerly a keyboard player for the Beach Boys? That explains the smooth California vibes woven into the Captain and Tennille's music. This single would be certified gold. Sliding in at number 7 is J.D. Souther with You're Only Lonely. First things first, who exactly is J.D. Souther? Well, if you're a fan of the Eagles, you may know. Souther wasn't an official Eagle, but he was like their cool cousin who'd show up at family dinners with a guitar, great song ideas, and some killer harmonies. He co-wrote some of their biggest hits, including New Kid in Town, Best of My Love, and Heartache Tonight, which we already discussed at number 9. Not too shabby, huh? But You're Only Lonely? This was all J.D. Released in 1979, it hit number 7 on the Billboard Hot 100, making it his biggest solo hit, and it topped the adult contemporary charts too. Okay, let's talk about the sound. If you close your eyes while listening to this song, you might feel a twinge of Roy Orbison vibes. That's no accident. Souther himself said he was inspired by Orbison's ballads and wanted to create something similarly heartfelt and timeless. JD was also an actor, so he did a lot of different things, and sadly, he passed away in November 2024. At number 6, it's No More Tears, Enough is Enough by Barbra Streisand and Donna Summer. Let's start with the obvious. Barbra and Donna, two women who were absolutely owning their lanes back in the day. Barbra, Broadway legend turned pop icon. Donna, the queen of disco herself. These two teaming up was like finding out your favorite superheroes are teaming up for an epic crossover. No More Tears, Enough is Enough dropped in 1979, right as disco was starting to hit its peak, and some say its decline. But with this track, they weren't just riding the wave, they were controlling the tide. It's a perfect blend of Streisand's Broadway-style theatricality and Donna Summer's undeniable disco energy. And when I say perfect, I mean it hit number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100. Boom, mic drop. Or should I say glitter ball drop? Barbra recorded her vocals separately. That's right, folks. The two divas didn't actually sing together in the studio. It was a long-distance collaboration, even before Zoom made that a thing. The track was produced in 2 versions, a radio-friendly single and a full-length version that runs over 11 minutes. Yes, 11 minutes. This single would be certified platinum. At number 5, we've got the legendary Stevie Wonder with Send One Your Love. This song is smooth, romantic, and perfect for making mixtapes. This is a track from Stevie Wonder's album, Journey Through the Secret Life of Plants, which was the soundtrack to the documentary of the same name, based on how plants can take in information from their environments and their ability to communicate with other life forms. Kind of heady stuff, and probably only Stevie Wonder could make a concept like this not just work, but flourish. And this song? It's the standout single, and it climbed all the way to number 4 on the Billboard Hot 100 and number 1 on the adult contemporary chart. Now let's talk about how Stevie worked his magic on this track. He not only sang, but he also played multiple instruments. Because of course he did. The man's a musical genius. The keyboard melodies are dreamy, the bass line is smooth as silk, and that harmonica solo, awesome as usual. The song encourages us to show love, not just to romantic partners, but to everyone around us. It's like Stevie was saying, hey, the world can use a little more kindness, so let's spread it around. Coming in at number 4 is Escape, the Pina Colada song by Rupert Holmes. It topped the charts in December 1979, making it the last Billboard Hot 100 number 1 hit of the 70s and the very first of the 80s. But let's talk about the storyline. It's an ingenious tale of a man who's bored in his relationship who answers a personal ad in the newspaper. For anyone under 25, I should mention that personal ads were basically Tinder for people who use typewriters. The man replies to the ad about someone who, as we all know, loves pina coladas, getting caught in the rain, and midnight escapes on the beach. Spicy, right? Well, plot twist. It turns out the person who placed the ad was his partner all along. Who knew betrayal could sound this cheerful? Holmes has said he doesn't even like pina coladas. Yep, the man who gave us the ultimate ode to tropical cocktails actually said he found them too sweet. Originally, the line was supposed to be about champagne, but he thought pina coladas sounded way more interesting. Apparently, he was right. Holmes was also a man of many talents. He was a playwright and a novelist. So yeah, the guy who gave us this breezy anthem is actually a creative powerhouse. But some would say that this song is his legacy, and not a bad one, since the single would be certified gold. At number 3, we have Casey and the Sunshine Band with Please Don't Go. This single was almost the end of Casey and the Sunshine Band as we knew them. Harry Wayne Casey, yes, that's the Casey and the Sunshine Band, was ready to take a break from the music scene. Disco was starting to fade out, and Casey decided to give us one last love letter before hitting pause. And wow, what a farewell track, right? It quickly climbed the charts and became a massive hit, ultimately snagging the number 1 spot on the Billboard Hot 100 in January of 1980. Fun fact, This was the band's first and only #1 ballad. Who knew they had it in them after all those funky dance hits? And talk about influence. Decades later, Please Don't Go was covered by the artist KWS, who turned it into a high-energy dance anthem in the 90s. That version also hit #1 in several countries, proving this track had some serious staying power. Oh, and let's not forget Casey's reaction to the song's success. He once said he wrote it during a tough time and couldn't believe people were slow dancing to his heartbreak. Moving to #2, we've got Still by the Commodores. Lionel Richie could sing the phone book and make it sound like poetry. And in Still, he's not just singing, he's pouring his heart out. This track from the Commodores' Midnight Magic album was their second #1 hit on the Billboard Hot 100, following 3 Times a Lady. Clearly, Lionel had the magic touch when it came to love ballads. Let's talk about the sound of Still. It's stripped down, minimal, and all about the emotion. The soft piano, gentle strings, and Lionel's tender delivery hit you right in the gut. This isn't a song you dance to, it's a song you cry to. Or maybe just reflect on that time in high school when your crush dumped you for someone cooler. Memories. Still has become one of the Commodores' most iconic tracks, even though it doesn't have their usual funky vibe. It's a testament to their versatility as a band. Still would also go to the top of the R&B charts. Drum roll, please. At the top spot is the Styx classic Babe, a song that probably soundtracked every prom slow dance in 1979. Here's the scoop. Babe wasn't supposed to be a hit. In fact, it wasn't even supposed to be a Styx song. Dennis DeYoung wrote it as a personal gift for his wife, Suzanne. It was basically his way of saying, hey babe, I love you, even when I'm out on the road with these rock and roll hooligans. And if that doesn't make your heart melt, are you even human? But the rest of the band heard it and were like, Dennis, this is too good to keep to yourself. So they added it to the Cornerstone album and boom, instant chart success. Babe became Styx's first and only #1 hit on the Billboard Hot 100. Styx was known for their prog rock edge and theatrical vibe. So when Babe hit, some fans were like, well, wait, where's the guitar solos with synthesizers that sound like lasers? Instead, we got a gentle piano ballad and Dennis's emotional vocals. But not everyone loved the shift. Hardcore Styx fans were divided, and some critics thought it was too soft. Dennis, however, stood by it, saying it showed the band's versatility. Plus, let's be real, a #1 hit is nothing to scoff at. Even the toughest rockers have a soft side. This song would be certified gold, and the album Cornerstone would be certified 2 times platinum. Well, there you have it. Our MusicGoldmine.com top 10s revisited from December 15th, 1979. What a year for music. From disco queens to power ballads to quirky hits about pina coladas, this list is a time capsule of pure awesomeness. Which song from this list is your fave? Drop it in the comments and keep the conversation going by telling us what week you'd like to see us revisit. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell for more trips down musical memory lane. And maybe a goofy costume or two. Until next time, keep those vibes positive and the music loud.